If you're collecting Canada Pension Plan, Old Age Security, or the Guaranteed Income Supplement, the payment dates for February 2026 have just been released, and there's something different this month that could affect when your money hits your bank account. More importantly, there are payment amount changes that could put an extra $200 or more in your pocket every single month, but only if you know exactly what you qualify for. I've spent over 15 years helping Canadian seniors navigate the complex world of government benefits. I've seen too many retirees miss out on thousands of dollars simply because they didn't understand the system or weren't aware of recent changes. That's why I'm here today to break down everything you need to know about your February 2026 payments in plain, simple English. Now, before we dive into the specific dates and amounts, I want you to understand something important. The Canadian government makes changes to these programs every single year. Some changes are automatic, like the cost of living increases. Others require you to take action, like applying for supplements or updating your income information. The difference between someone who stays informed and someone who doesn't can literally be hundreds of dollars every month. That's thousands of dollars every year that could be going toward your groceries, your medications, your heating bills, or even that vacation you've been putting off. For February 2026, Service Canada has confirmed that all CPP, OAS, and GIS payments will be deposited on Wednesday, February 25th, 2026. Now, I want you to write this date down, put it in your calendar, set a reminder on your phone if you have one. This is the date your money should appear in your bank account. Now, you might be wondering why I'm emphasizing this so much. Here's why. February 2026 is unique because it follows a standard payment schedule, but with the changes happening to payment amounts and eligibility criteria, this is a month where you absolutely need to verify that you're receiving the correct amount. I've heard from dozens of viewers who discovered they were being underpaid simply because they checked their February statement carefully. The payment will arrive the same way it always does. If you receive direct deposit, the money will be in your account on February 25th, usually by early morning. If you receive payments by check in the mail, you should expect to receive it within 5 to 10 business days after February 25th, depending on where you live in Canada. However, I strongly encourage you to switch to direct deposit if you haven't already. It's faster, it's safer, and you don't have to worry about lost or delayed mail. Regarding the specific payment amounts for February 2026, let me make sure we're all on the same page about what these three programs actually are. I know some of you are receiving all three, some are receiving two, and some are receiving just one. It's important to understand the difference because each program has different rules, different payment amounts, and different ways they can increase. The Canada Pension Plan is money you contributed to during your working years. Every time you received a paycheck, a portion of your income went into the CPP. Your employer also contributed on your behalf. Think of it like a forced savings account that the government managed for you throughout your career. The amount you receive from CPP depends entirely on how much you contributed and for how long. If you worked for 40 years and made good money, your CPP will be higher. If you only worked part-time or took years off, your CPP will be lower. The maximum CPP payment for 2026 is $1,364.60 per month. But here's the reality. Most Canadians don't receive the maximum. The average CPP payment in 2026 is approximately $815 per month. Old age security is different from CPP. You don't have to have worked to receive OAS. This is a benefit the government provides to all Canadians who are 65 or older and who meet the residency requirements. Basically, if you've lived in Canada for at least 10 years after turning 18, you qualify for at least a partial OAS pension. The amount you receive depends on how long you've lived in Canada. If you've lived here for 40 years or more after age 18, you get the full amount. If you've lived here for less time, you get a partial amount. For February 2026, the maximum OAS payment is $7,276 per month for people aged 65 to 74. If you're 75 or older, you receive an additional 10%, which brings your maximum to $844 per month. OAS is income tested. If your annual income is above a certain threshold, your OAS gets reduced or even completely clawed back. For 2026, the threshold is $90,997. If you make more than this, you start losing some of your OAS. If you make over $148,000, you lose all of it. The Guaranteed Income Supplement is for low-income seniors who are already receiving OAS. This is the program that truly helps those who need it most. If your only income is OAS, or if you have very little additional income, GIS can add several hundred to your monthly payment. The amount of GIS you receive depends on your income and your marital status. If you're single, widowed, or divorced, you can receive up to $1,073.93 per month in February 2026. If you're married or living common law and your spouse also receives OAS and GIS, you can each receive up to $647.30 per month. If your spouse doesn't receive OAS, you can receive up to $1,073.93. The income threshold for GIS is much lower than for OAS. For single seniors, if your annual income outside of OAS is more than $21,624, you don't qualify for GIS. For couples, the combined income threshold is $28,560. The specific amounts you should be seeing in your bank account on February 25, 2026. This is where you need to pay very close attention because this is how you'll know if you're being paid correctly. The Canada Pension Plan has been indexed to inflation for 2026. The indexation rate is 2.7%. What this means in real dollars is that if you were receiving $800 per month in December 2025, your February 2026 payment should be approximately $8,260. That's an extra $2,160 every single month, or $25,220 extra per year. Now I want you to do this right now. Take out your most recent CPP statement. Look at the amount you received in December 2025 or January 2026. Multiply that number by 1.0027. That's the amount you should be receiving in February 2026. If your February payment is less than this, something is wrong and you need to contact Service Canada immediately. OAS. Increases for 2026. Old age security has also been indexed at 2.7% for 2026. For those receiving the maximum OAS payment, this means an increase from $7,873 to $7,267 per month. That's an extra $1,894 every month. For seniors age 75 and older, remember you get that extra 10%. Your maximum payment increases from $779.60 to $844. That's an extra $20.84 per month compared to what you were getting in December 2025. The Guaranteed Income Supplement has also been indexed at 2.7%. For single seniors receiving the maximum GIS, your payment increases from $1,045.50 to $1,073.93 per month. That's an increase of $28.43 per month, or $34.16 per year. For couples where both receive OAS and GIS, each person's maximum GIS increases from $63,016 to $647.30. For couples where only one receives OAS, the GIS portion increases from $145.50 to $173.93. Before we continue, I need to ask you something. If this information is helping you understand your benefits better, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button right now. I put out videos like this every single time there's a change to CPP, OAS, or GIS, because I know how confusing the government makes this information. By subscribing, you'll never miss an update that could affect your money. And if you know another senior who receives these benefits, share this video with them. Too many people are leaving money on the table simply because they don't know what they're entitled to. Now let's talk about something that doesn't get discussed enough. What happens when your payment is wrong? I receive messages every single month from viewers who tell me their payment didn't arrive, or it was less than expected, or something just doesn't look right. Here's what you need to know. Missing payments. If February 25th comes and goes and you don't see your payment, don't panic, but don't wait either. First, check your bank account carefully. Sometimes the payment appears under a slightly different name than you expect. Look for any deposits from Service Canada or Government of Canada. If you're absolutely certain the payment didn't arrive, you need to contact Service Canada right away. The phone number is 1-800-277-9914. Yes, the wait times can be long, sometimes over an hour, but this is your money and you need to follow up. When you call, have your social insurance number ready and be prepared to verify your identity. In most cases, missing payments are due to banking issues. Maybe your bank account number changed, or there was a problem with your direct deposit information. Service Canada can usually resolve these issues quickly and issue your payment within a few days. This is more common than missing payments, and it's often harder to detect. Maybe your payment came through, but it was $50 less than last month. Or maybe you received the increase, but it seems smaller than what I described in this video. There are several reasons this might happen. First, if you have any deductions set up on your account, those continue regardless of the increase. For example, if you're having income tax withheld from your OAS, that withholding amount might have also increased. If you owe money to the government for any reason, such as an overpayment from a previous year, they can deduct that from your monthly payment. Second, your income might have changed. Remember, OAS is income tested, and GIS is heavily income tested. If your income went up in the previous tax year, your February payment might be lower because Service Canada reassessed your eligibility based on your most recent tax return. This is why it's absolutely critical that you file your income tax return every single year, even if you don't owe any tax. Service Canada uses your tax return to calculate your GIS and to determine if you need to repay any OAS. If you don't file your taxes, your GIS will be cut off completely after a warning period, unexpected increases. Now here's a pleasant surprise that some of you might experience. Your February payment might be higher than you expected. This can happen for a few reasons. If you recently turned 75, your OAS automatically increases by 10%. You don't have to apply for this. It happens automatically in the month after your 75th birthday. If your income went down significantly in the previous tax year, you might now qualify for GIS when you didn't before, or your GIS amount might have increased. Again, this is why filing your tax return is so important. If you were receiving a partial OAS because you hadn't lived in Canada long enough, but you've now reached the 40-year residency mark, your OAS automatically increases to the full amount, maximizing your benefits. Here's what most people don't realize. There are legal, legitimate ways to increase your CPP, OAS, and GIS payments. Let me walk you through some strategies that could put more money in your pocket. Delaying CPP. You can start receiving CPP as early as age 60. But if you do, your payment is reduced by 0.6% for every month before age 65. That means if you take it at age 60, you're getting 36% less for the rest of your life. On the other hand, if you delay CPP past age 65, your payment increases by 0.7% for every month you wait up until age 70. If you wait until 70, you're getting 42% more than you would have at 65. Now, should you delay? It depends on your situation. If you're in poor health or you need the money, taking it early makes sense. But if you're healthy, still working, and don't need the money right away, delaying can significantly increase your lifetime benefits. Delaying OAS. The same concept applies to OAS. You can delay your OAS pension for up to 5 years past age 65, and for every month you delay, your payment increases by 0.6%. If you wait until age 70, you're getting 36% more. This strategy works best if you're still working and your income is high enough that your OAS would be clawed back anyway. Why take it at 65 if the government is just going to take most of it back? Wait until 70 when you're retired and your income is lower. Income splitting for GIS. Here's a strategy that can help couples maximize their GIS. If one spouse has a high income and the other has a low income, you might be leaving GIS money on the table. By using pension income splitting on your tax return, you can shift income from the high-income spouse to the low-income spouse, which might qualify the low-income spouse for GIS. For example, let's say John receives $30,000 per year from his company pension, and his wife Mary receives only OAS, which is about $8,000 per year. With John's income at $30,000, Mary doesn't qualify for any GIS. But if they use pension income splitting and shift $15,000 of John's pension income to Mary on their tax returns, now John's reported income is $15,000 and Mary's is $23,000. Mary might now qualify for a partial GIS payment. This is a complex strategy, and you should speak with an accountant or tax professional who specializes in senior benefits before implementing it. But it's absolutely legal and can result in thousands of dollars in extra GIS payments. The international benefit strategy. If you've lived or worked in another country that has a Social Security agreement with Canada, you might be entitled to benefits from that country as well. Canada has agreements with over 50 countries, including the United States, the United Kingdom, Australia, and many European nations. Many seniors don't realize they can receive both their Canadian benefits and benefits from another country at the same time. For example, if you worked in the United States for 10 years and in Canada for 30 years, you can receive both U.S. Social Security and Canadian CPP and OAS. To explore this, contact Service Canada and ask about international benefits. They can tell you which countries Canada has agreements with and how to apply for foreign benefits, what to expect in the coming months. Looking beyond February 2026, I want to give you a heads up about what's coming in the rest of the year so you can plan accordingly. Quarterly Indexation Review. The government reviews the indexation rate for CPP, OAS, and GIS every quarter. While the current rate is 2.7%, this could change in the coming months if inflation changes significantly. The next review will happen in April 2026, and any changes would take effect in July 2026 payments. Annual Income Review for GIS. This is critical. Every July, Service Canada reviews your GIS eligibility based on your previous year's income tax return. This means the GIS amount you receive in July 2026 will be based on your 2025 income tax return. If you haven't filed your 2025 tax return by the time Service Canada does this review, your GIS will be cut off. You'll receive warning letters, but if you ignore them, your GIS stops. I cannot stress this enough. File your tax return on time every single year, even if you owe nothing. The 2026 federal budget. The federal government typically releases its budget in March or April. This budget could include changes to CPP, OAS, or GIS. In recent years, we've seen increases to the GIS earnings exemption, increases to OAS for seniors over 75, and discussions about further changes to help low-income seniors. I'll be covering the budget in detail as soon as it's released, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that video. How to verify your payment amounts. Let me give you a step-by-step process to verify that you're receiving the correct amount in February 2026. Step 1. Access your My Service Canada account. If you haven't already, set up a My Service Canada account online. This is a free, secure account where you can see all your payment information, your payment history, and any correspondence from Service Canada. To set it up, go to the Service Canada website and click on My Service Canada account. You'll need your social insurance number and access to your online banking or a government-issued ID to verify your identity. Once you're logged in, you can see your exact payment amounts for CPP, OAS, and GIS. You can also see your payment history going back several years, which is helpful if you think you've been underpaid. Step 2. Review your payment stub. Whether you receive direct deposit or a check, Service Canada sends you a payment stub that breaks down your payment. This stub shows your gross payment amount and any deductions. Look at the stub for February 2026. It should show the increased amounts I mentioned earlier. If it doesn't, that's your first clue. Something might be wrong. Step 3. Compare to previous months. Take your January 2026 payment amount and multiply it by 1.0027. The result should match your February 2026 payment. If it's significantly different, investigate why. Step 4. Check for deductions. If your payment is lower than expected, check if you have any deductions. Common deductions include income tax withholding, repayment of overpayments, and voluntary deductions you might have set up. Step 5. Contact Service Canada if needed. If something doesn't add up, don't guess. Contact Service Canada at 1-800-277-9914. Have your social insurance number ready and be specific about your concern. We're almost at the end of this video, but before we finish, I need you to do 2 things for me. First, if you found this information valuable, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I create videos like this every time there's a change to government benefits for seniors. The next few months are going to bring several important updates, including the federal budget, potential changes to GIS eligibility, and the July income review. You don't want to miss any of these because they directly affect your money. Second, leave me a comment below. Tell me what payment amount you're expecting in February and whether you have any questions about your specific situation. I read every single comment, and while I can't give personalized financial advice, I can point you in the right direction and create future videos addressing common questions. Your February 2026 CPP, OAS, and GIS payment will be deposited on Wednesday, February 25th, 2026. All 3 programs have been indexed by 2.7%, which means you should see an increase compared to your December 2025 payments. For CPP, the maximum payment is $1,964.60, with the average being around $815. For OAS, the maximum is $7,227.67 for those under 75 and $844.75 and older. For GIS, the maximum is $173.93 for single seniors. Verify your payment when it arrives. Check your bank account on February 25th. Review your payment stub and make sure the numbers match what you're expecting based on the 2.7% increase. If something is wrong, contact Service Canada immediately. Don't wait and assume it will fix itself. File your 2025 income tax return as soon as possible and definitely before July 2026. Your GIS depends on it. Consider strategies to maximize your benefits, such as delaying CPP or OAS, if it makes sense for your situation, using pension income splitting if you're married, and exploring international benefits if you've lived or worked in other countries. Remember, these government benefits are your money. You contributed to CPP throughout your working life. You earned OAS by living in Canada, and if you're low income, GIS is there to help you maintain a decent standard of living. Don't leave money on the table because you didn't understand the system or didn't know what you were entitled to. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and make sure you're getting every dollar you deserve. I'll be here every step of the way, breaking down the complex information into simple, actionable advice. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video where we'll discuss what to expect from the 2026 federal budget and how it might affect your retirement income.